understanding where the business is today. Frankly speaking, if we can't see what's going on, it's very difficult to help guide you on where you're going. So we need to understand what's happening. So what are some of the things that we do right off the bat? Hey, welcome back, everyone. My name is Tanner O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at ActionCOACH in Central Texas. And today we wanted to just take a few minutes and talk a little bit about what to expect when you choose to enroll into a coaching program here at ActionCOACH. There's a lot of kind of, call it secret sauce that most will not kind of talk about in terms of what's that process look like. You got to get into coaching before we show you. It's like, let's just break all that apart. Let's give you a little bit of a sneak peek into the types of things that we walk through, at least for the first few weeks. And we'll continue to share as much of this as we possibly can here on the YouTube channel. So first and foremost, if you're not subscribed, if you're not checking in and locked into this channel here, make sure you click the button, click the little bell to make sure that you're getting notifications when we drop videos like this. We're going to continue to provide additional content every week and continue to help you all continue to grow, connect with other business owners and all that kind of stuff, especially here in the Central Texas market. So coaching. Let's talk a little bit about what the first few weeks in coaching looks like. Where do we spend time focusing? What is most important, most impactful for 90% of the business owners that come to us and say, "Yep, let's give this a shot," right? Let's jump in, let's see what coaching feels like, and start seeing some different results in the business. So if you have not seen my previous video where I talk about kind of what are the reasons why many small business owners come to us in the first place, what are some of the things that they're feeling, seeing, experiencing in their business, make sure you go check out that video. I'll put a link to that here in the video and put the link in the description below. So make sure you go check that one out. And of course, then we'll dive into some of the topics here today. So what are some of the first things that we do as coaches if you choose to come on board and become a client, go through the coaching process? Well, I'll tell you first and foremost, one thing that we find insanely important for, again, 90+% of the businesses that we talk to, that we work with, et cetera, is, understanding where the business is today. Frankly speaking, if we can't see what's going on, it's very difficult to help guide you on where you're going. So we need to understand what's happening. So what are some of the things that we do right off the bat? So I talked about at the very beginning in the previous video that, two of the three common frustrations are lack of money and a challenge around time. So those are some of the two first things that we're going to be looking at when it comes to jumping into a coaching program. So oftentimes, many of our clients go through a time study, just understanding for a week, where is the time going? Because oftentimes it's like, I've got all these different things to be doing as a business owner, and am I doing the right stuff? Where's my time actually going? Am I as productive as I could be? Is my team as productive as they could be? So we often spend some time doing some version of a time study. For some, it may be very detailed and getting into it. For others, it may be a little bit of a more simplified version, just depending on where you are and kind of what's going on in the business today. But we do tackle that issue with time. At the end of the day, if we do not focus on freeing up at least a couple hours a week for you to start working on the business, then it becomes very difficult to implement anything that we're going to go through and discuss in coaching. Strategies, tactics, things like that to help grow the business. If you don't have the time to do it, it's not going to happen. So, of course, that is the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to walk through that process with you and ensure that we carve out some time to make this a little less overwhelming and give you the ability to start making some really positive forward momentum and progress. The second thing that we're going to do, or really in conjunction, is we actually want to look at financials. We're going to take a moment and make sure that we look at what's happening financially in your business. Now, it still surprises me today the number of coaches and programs out there, even where you've got mentors and things like that, where they don't take time to actually look at the business financials. Well, that's a little bit different from what we do. We're going to actually walk through that process with you, because at the end of the day, if we can't see your financials, if we don't know the numbers, if you don't know your numbers enough to send them and share them with us and walk through them together, then that's a cornerstone of running a business that we need to solve first. Again, we can't manage what we can't see. What's managed gets measured. What gets measured gets moved, and managed gets moved. As that kind of old saying goes, we want to make sure that we take a look at those types of things. And financials is a very big piece of it. So time and financials are going to be, some of the top two things that we do, regardless of where you're at in business, to get a good sense of where the business is and where it's headed long term, so that we can work on solving those top two challenges, time and money, right? But that's just a piece of it, right? That is kind of the standard that we go through. But that's could be a couple weeks of kind of financial understanding and time mastery and things like that. But what else do we do? What are other things that we're going to go through in business? Well, the first step in a true coaching program is going to be what we call an alignment. And this alignment is all about aligning you with the direction of your business. So this is kind of that first critical session within coaching where we align ourselves with the business. That's aligning us as a coach to you. It's aligning you and your business partners to the end goal, or you and your spouse to the end goal. And ultimately, where is the business headed and how does it align with the lifestyle and the life that you want to live? So this often takes, a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours to kind of go through this process and ensure that we've got that really documented and understood. I had a mentor of mine once upon a time kind of talk about this process of alignment. And if you have individuals that are not aligned with where you're headed, so we'll use a spouse as an example, whether they're actually in the business or not. Usually spouses have some sort of impact on kind of overall direction of life. And without proper alignment, either, the spouse could be a propeller or an anchor. And if you're not aligned, if you and your spouse are not aligned on where the business is headed, where life is going, all that kind of stuff, then that other individual, that spouse really is a anchor. They kind of pull back and make it much harder to move things forward. Now, on the other side, if you do have alignment and things are connecting in the right way and everybody has the right vision, we're going in the same direction, then it acts as a propellant and it just moves things that much faster forward. So it's important to kind of go through that process, ensure that things are aligned. Like, where is the business headed, so that we can actually draw the roadmap to get there and determine the speed at which that we're going to go. So that is kind of piece number one. And part of that is goal setting. We go through this process of setting goals, from 5-year goals to 1-year goals to 90-day goals. And it's important that we go through this process, and every single client that we work with that is in a coaching program goes through our 90-day planning every single quarter. And that's because that's very action oriented. It's not just here's a kind of fun goal that I want to hit in the next 90 days. It's here's the goal. Here's what needs to happen week by week for 13 weeks in order to achieve that goal. And then we work through a coaching process to ensure the accountability to the plan that you set forth. Writing these things down, insanely important when it comes to how we continue to grow as a business owner, as a leader, and consistently hitting the marks so that we can see our 5-year goals or 3-year goals or 1-year goal become a reality over time. So these are just some of the things that we're going to go through in the first couple of weeks. How the program works. Let's talk a little bit about that as well. I think that's another important piece to go through. And kind of how we like to phrase is the Action Coach program is all about transferring knowledge. Transference of kind of how to run a business, ideally in an hour a week, right? So part of coaching is it's an apprenticeship to understanding how to run your business in an hour a week. We're going to walk through that process and give you the tools of how we guide you through building your business so that one day you can spend an hour a week guiding your GM, your CEO to run and build the business on your behalf. So the coach works with you and your team to teach kind of specific strategies and different things to grow your business, to kind of get to that completion of the program, and we'll have the knowledge and be able to implement these over and over again in your business and become really any business that you get involved in down the road. So for some of you watching this, first stage, maybe let's get this business up and running. But, I think it was Richard Branson that had the quote of, once you learn how to run one successful business, you can run 100 of them. The principles are the same. So how do we guide you on that process to know how to do it? So if you decide to get involved in other businesses, buy other businesses, start other businesses, things like that. You have the tools and you're already equipped with the knowledge to be able to jump in and start doing that multiple times over. So with these programs, you typically have an hour coaching session every week. It's usually held via Zoom. It can be, in person, things like that, depending on your specific needs, where you're located, things like that. But it'll be an hour. It'll be conducted on those, and you'll have kind of the ability to go through, where are you at on the 90-day plan? How fast are you moving? What questions do you have? What roadblocks and hurdles have you faced this week? And be able to kind of work through those things as needed in your business. And it'll be planning for the weekly goals and strategies. It can be things on systems. It can be things on recruiting. What we call our 5-way strategies, where we actually focus and pin down the strategies that we're focused on to increase leads, to improve our overall conversion rate in from sales. How do we increase our average dollar sale or average order volume, that sort of thing. Really looking at how do we increase profitability overall. Is at the end of the day, probably the biggest thing that is most important with any program, any coaching program that you choose to do, whether it's within Action Coach or not, is getting a return on investment. We are insanely laser focused on this. That, at the end of the day, if you're not getting a return on investment, if we have not made back the money that you're investing into this program through additional profit in your business, then it's not a good investment of your time or your money. So we want to make sure that we really pinpoint down how do we increase profitability for your business. Now, as a client, it's important to understand that you and your team, not just you, but you and your team will be responsible for coming up with the first draft of kind of each strategy and things like that we do. This is how you learn as an individual. And then we help critique and bring you along the journey to be able to see success with each of those as you continue to go. Contact. What if you need to, contact your coach? It's middle of the week. Your coaching session maybe already happened this week. You're not meeting till next week. Like, what am I doing? Am I on my own? No, you're never on your own. When you're into a coaching program, you have virtually unlimited access to your coach. Now, send them a text message, send them a message, kind of whatever is kind of the methodology that's set up between you and your coach. But reach out and have those conversations. I was just talking to one of my clients recently, where our sessions are usually on Thursday, and she sends me a message on a Tuesday morning. It's like, hey, I've got something that came up in business. Can we have a chance to connect? And of course, let's find some time on the calendar today. I had some time on really my commute into the office, so we sat down and we had a 40-minute conversation to kind of work through something that was in the business. No, it's not the initial scheduled time, but it's the piece that's going to help in the moment to continue to grow and build the business. And that's what we're here to do as coaches. So how long is the program? I think that's kind of a big piece to go through, because it's a question that we get all the time. How long is the program? Is it a 90-day thing? Do I need to be in it for a year? What does that actually look like? Now, kind of the way that we like to phrase it is that you'll work with your coach for a minimum of 12 months. Now, I say that cautiously, because the way this is all set up is like, you get into it, you get 2 months in, you're like, this is not for me. There's no vibe. We're not getting results, whatever. You're not locked into a 12-month contract or anything like that for coaching. All right. We know that the best results come when you stick with the program for a longer period of time. But we also know that sometimes it just wasn't a good fit. It wasn't a good thing, or other big circumstances arise that were kind of out of everybody's control. So we're not going to lock you into anything like that, but it is important to kind of understand that working with a coach for a minimum of 12 months is the most successful way to do it when you look at kind of historical results all across the world, not just here in Texas. So really that first stage of the program can take anywhere from 12 months to 3 years. It really depends on size of business, the number of team members you have, and the complexity of the strategies that we're looking to implement, right? Sometimes we can move a lot faster, sometimes a little bit slower. Really depends on the program and where you're at in business. But that first kind of stage is 12 months to 3 years. And really during that time, you're going to get at least a 3x return on your investment. So if you had invested $1,000, you're going to make $3,000 a month on that, right? We're going to have a 3x return on investment during that period of time. Many of our clients achieve that much further, that 3x much earlier than the 12-month mark, but we know that it almost always happens, 12 months to 3 years down the road. How about stage 2? What does stage 2 look like then? And this is the point we start looking at getting a 7x or more return on investment. That return on investment is really important, as I kind of stated before. But what does stage 2 look like? All right, so I've gone through stage 1. I've built my business up. We're starting to see some success here. Profitability is increasing. The business is starting to hum. What happens next? Well, stage 2 of the program will really teach you more advanced strategies, including things that will really scale the business, if that's kind of what you're looking for. It could also be, property investment or purchasing multiple businesses. It could be attending different things from our founder, Brad Sugars. He's got a entrepreneurs boot camp and things like that we can kind of start sending you to when you're ready. But it's really that next layer of entrepreneurship after kind of getting through building the first business of yours. So stage 1 is kind of the building of the first business. Stage 2 is kind of that next layer of really wealth creation and bigger things within your business. And then, we look at this and we understand that 86% of clients at Action Coach that continue with the program for at least 12 months, and some clients have even been with the program for over 12 years, and they continue. And the question is why? Because at some point, the programs become free. And that's why we look at a return on investment so much in what we do. Is at the end of the day, this process should be free. If we can get you to the point where your business is achieving far more in advance of what you've put into it in terms of your output and profitability and cash flow, then we've got something that you can continue to scale and use. So we take that approach within coaching as well. And at the end of the day, we want to get to the point where it's free and you continue on and continue that education and knowledge and growth for you as an individual, for your family, for your community, for your clients, for kind of anything that matters to you. So yes, 12 months is kind of the minimum program available in terms of what we recommend. But of course, it really depends on what's your situation and kind of where you're going from there. So that's a little bit of what to expect within coaching. There's a number of different things that we'll continue to share some information on, a little bit more tactical and things like that. So like I said, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you lock it in here, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, and continue to grow your business. Use this education as a natural first step in building the business. Check out some of our past webinars and things like that here on the channel, and we'll continue to work together to grow your business. And when you're ready to have that conversation around coaching and what could that look like for you and your business, give us a call. Shoot us an email at office@actioncoachcentraltx.com, and let's set up some time to just have that initial conversation. We're not going to charge you or anything like that for initial conversations and walking through a few things. We'll even give you a little taste of what coaching feels like. So give us a call, shoot us a quick email. We'd love to kind of help you continue to grow your business and just give you kind of all the tools necessary to live the best life that you want to live. Again, my name is Tanner O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at Action Coach in Central Texas. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.